But I believe in coloring the world, gotta holler to be heard in time. We can fight back, ready to go right by. To the sky, to the moon, making my skyline brand new. You, you get my heart in trouble.
It's Craft Fair Week, yay! Hi friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. I'm your host Heather, and we do crafty things here. I have a handmade business where I make project bags and purses, and this week we are going to be out of the studio, in and out of the studio, preparing for the craft fair. We're going to finish the rest of our coin purses hopefully, and then we're going to get our booth assignment, and I will take you along for a look at the craft fair, and we'll talk about how we did. So this one is a one-day craft fair. I'll put all the information up here for you. If you're watching this, it has already happened. But yeah, this is a one-day craft fair that's part of the Torrance Craftsmen's Guild, which I am a member of. And they have a one-day in spring and a two-day craft fair in fall. So this will be my second time doing this one, and I don't know that we'll be doing this one again. We will have to see how I feel and how much I can make. I've been feeling a little burnt out lately. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the spring one on a regular basis or not, so we will just, that'll be fluid. We'll see what happens, but we are going to do this one. So we've got to get our booth assignment, find out what size booth, depending on how many people they have and what other booths are requested. I might get the nice long one we had last time, or I might be in a 10 by 10. If I'm in a 10 by 10, I have to rethink the layout, because I've got those two big wire hangers for all the purses, and I have to decide if I want one table or two. I'm leaning towards one table just because I think we can fit everything on the table without there being two tables. Yeah, I really don't have a lot to display on the tables if we can use the hanging things, and then my sister and I could sit on one side and have the hanging things on the other, which would be nice because we were kind of like shouting at each other from across the booth, which was really awkward all day. And then my sister has generously offered an hour to volunteer at the drawing table, so she'll be away for that and eating lunch and everything. But it's only like a 5-hour thing, and it's a come that morning setup, tear down same day. So it's going to be a rough day. I'm sorry, Kelly, but thank you for always helping me out at the craft fairs. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's just such a joy not only to not have to set up and tear down alone. She also has a larger vehicle to drag all my crap in, but also just the moral support of I'm an introvert, so it's really hard for me to do these things all day, and she's like, say hi, you know. She kind of like pushes me out there to be more outgoing on those days, so that's really helpful, because I might just sit there and not be as outgoing as I should be for something like this. So we've already made a selection of the coin purses that I was going to save for the yarn crawl, but I think I'm going to make these all hopefully this week. I can finish them all for this fair, just because the coin purses sell really well. I do have extras of all of these fabrics that I could make more coin purses for the yarn crawl, depending on time. Because as you know, we've been making bags for the yarn crawl already, but I'm gonna need at least a week or two to make all these small things. And then I forgot that we added on a small thing that I was supposed to make with all those snaps I ordered. So there's these little sock DPN kind of like things that hold your DPN needles onto your current sock that you're making. I'll put a picture in here if I can find one, but one of my YouTubers uses them, and I'm like, oh, that would be a perfect thing to make for the yarn crawl. So I have to look into that as well, but we're not worried about that this week. We're just worried about getting these done, getting everything organized and packed up, and going to do the fair. And then the day after that, I have a massage scheduled, so it's kind of my reward for being an extrovert for a day is to go relax and have a massage. And then I'll have to update my website inventory with everything and, you know, do all the admin stuff that comes after that. But should be an exciting week. So if that sounds like a good time to you, go ahead and grab a water or a cozy beverage, curl up, and let's get this week going. Okay, so I've not been feeling well, and I'm taking a sick day today, which gave me the chance to really work on the end of my shawl. Now they have an ending in mind in the pattern. It wasn't very interesting, so I wanted to do something like a picot border, or what I've landed on is a shell border. Now unfortunately I don't have enough yarn to finish this border, and I already tore apart one of the holy rows in order to make this happen. But it looks like I'm gonna have to tear apart more holy rows, in which case do I want any holy rows, because one holy row just seems kind of silly, which is kind of where I was at before, when I was figuring I wasn't gonna have enough yarn. So I do like the shell idea. Question is, do we want the shell right after the 3 solid rows, or do I want one? I guess I could have one holy row in here. Yeah, I could have one holy row, and then I'll have enough room for the shells. I'll have enough yarn left for the shells. So I'm gonna pull this back again. I've already done it like 2 times. Hoping I had enough yarn, and then realizing I didn't, and then pulling that apart, and now doing this because I tried doing it without the foundation row of single crochets, and it just didn't look right. So then I had to go back and add in the single crochets, which of course took up too much yarn. So let's go back, pull it back to 1 holy row, and then do our row of single crochets and our shell, and then we're done. I think I'm gonna work on my Christmas blanket just a bit before it like fully turns into spring around here. This evening was still pretty cold, so I think I'll be okay just working on the Christmas blanket a bit. I don't know that I'll finish it, but at least we can do something with it. I'd really like to finish it and clear out the basket and then get started on the spring one. We've also got to ball up all of our Advent yarn. That'll be the next wearable that I will be making, is something with the Advent yarn. And then I saw this picture of this Hobie yarn that looked really good, and I know I'm not supposed to buy any yarn this year, but it looked really cool. And I've always wanted to do the hexie blanket, not blanket, the hexie sweater, but I wanted to do it with like a cake yarn that changes colors, just so that the whole thing has this mottled effect. I'd like to do like a fingering weight. My sister's doing a fingering weight hexie sweater, and I think it looks a lot better than like a worsted weight hexie sweater. But this particular yarn is worsted weight. But I do find that when I order stuff from Hobie, it's thinner than I think it's gonna be. So the fact that it says worsted weight and it's a 5.5 recommended hook means it's probably going to be more like fingering weight, and I should be able to use a 3.5 hook. But I don't know that I want to take the chance, given what happened last year of me spending half the cost of the yarn to return it. I'm really going to have to be sure that what I order is what it is. So I'm going to look back at the yarn that I ordered, the Christmas yarn that wasn't the right color, but it was the right weight. I'm gonna go see what weight that lists it as on the website. Oh, my tummy's so upset. Ugh. We had Mexican food last night, and I don't know if it was just, you know, the beans or what, but my tummy is not doing well, and then I just tossed and turned and didn't get any sleep last night either. So, that's not good. Okay, we have successfully finished all the rest of the coin purses. I just have to print out some more labels for those. And we have balled up all of the yarn for the Advent project. So I am gonna try my hand at this pattern. She does have some tutorials, and she has a chart. So I'm hoping that's gonna help me and help me with the last one. Okay, well, I think I'm giving up on this. I'm having trouble understanding the pattern. There is a chart, there's a lot of special stitches, and I'm having trouble deciphering, even with the photos. Like, I think I got this one okay. And then we get to the bobble stitch, and it's not making a lot of sense to me. And then we have to do these special stitches on every single end. And yeah, I think it's just a struggle, and it's not going to be fun for me. So I think I'm going to switch over to the apple cider shawl. We'll try that one out. I do like this length, so I want to get a bead on how long this is. So it's about 19 inches, maybe 18. This is made with minis, but I think it's made with sock weight minis, so it's not really gonna be the same. And you know, obviously the DK yarn looks kind of fumbly and big compared to the sock weight or the fingering. Yeah, I think I would really like to have a video tutorial of this. I know it's a weak point of mine that I can't seem to get these things just with the pattern. We got our booth assignment, so I have a 10 by 10 space, and I'm in the room that I like, which is the first room, which is good. And we're in the corner, but we're not really in the corner because there's an access door that has to stay clear. So I'm trying to figure out, obviously it would be best to have all of the hanging bags in the corner to really attract people from both doors, both sides of the room. But I feel like we could set up both tables and have us sit behind the table if the table was in the corner. That kind of gives us more room, but we'll have to wait and see on the day which way is better. We're also on the side with the mirror background, so it might be nice to have the mirror background. And if we put the bags against the wall with the door, I could technically put bags on both sides. So that's an option as well.
Jump into the car on a Friday night. I wanna drive with you. Looking for a bar in the nearest town. I've never seen a sky so blue. We don't ever play it and the night is young. It doesn't matter what we do. There ain't nobody like. There ain't nobody like. You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. 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 Jump into the car.
I got my tea and we're ready to spill some tea about the craft fair. So I wanted to give you my initial thoughts. It was only yesterday, so I haven't had a lot of time to process, but I did want to go over my initial thoughts with you. It's been kind of a weird toss-up in my head, mainly because while I did wonderfully at the show and it was great to see everybody and to get the feedback about my bags and the oohs and the ahs and all of that fun stuff, there's also the other side of it, which is, you know, doing a craft fair, you don't know what people are really going to want. You try different things. Some work, some don't. And then depending on the show or the time of year or the state of the economy, you just don't know what's going to sell. And so I've been a little conflicted in the aftermath of the fair. So we made quite a good chunk of money. It was about $50 less than last March, so it's totally decent. But I found that everybody gravitated towards the smaller items. We only had 2 of the larger bags, the higher price bags, sell, and that makes or breaks a show, really. I mean, a $50, $60 bag mixed in with everything else can really make a difference. Obviously, I would rather sell more of the purses and the tote bags than the coin purses, but that's where we're at right now. And there was a lot of great traffic at the show. Lots of people stopped by. So I think it was just kind of either the state of the economy. I mean, eggs are like 10 bucks a carton, you know, 10 bucks a dozen for eggs. So we're in that kind of weird state right now where people don't necessarily want to spend money on things like that. If they want to support you, they'll buy a smaller ticket item. And I totally get that. But for the amount of stress I've been putting myself under preparing for this show and the next show, it's not a great return on my investment. So just want to be honest here. It's not like I'm going to stop making things. It's just kind of it's a balancing act between my state of mind, my health, making the things that people are actually going to buy, but also realizing that the things that people are actually going to buy might not be a high enough ticket item for me to continue making things or doing a show. So that's where we're at. The more I think about it, strategizing for the future, the more I would like to be doing the project bags. So we've been working on all the project bags for the yarn crawl, and that's been a lot of fun. I find I get to branch out and be more adventurous with the types of fabrics that I use. People who buy yarn are more inclined to spend money on a bag. I mean, if you're already buying a $25, $32 skein of yarn, then chances are you have the disposable income to buy a $28, $42 bag to put your yarn in. So that's kind of the thought process there. So I would love to reach more of the yarny people. So that's why I've been really cranking out bags for the yarn crawl. It's 4 days. So that's the thing there. I want to have enough of each size bag to be able to sustain us for 4 days, to make the most of the 4 days that I'm going to be there, and to really get my products out in front of the most amount of yarny people there are. So I've been pondering if what are we going to do? The schedule is set until May when we do the yarn crawl. After that, I have to determine where we're going. What direction are we going in with this business? So I've had a few initial thoughts. I'm not sponsored by Millinote. I would love to be, but I've been using them for the book planning that I started doing, the world building and planning out my book that I want to write. And I decided to go ahead and create a board for Lemon Tree Corner. And we're going to kind of think about the types of products I want to make, the audience. I would love to focus more on the yarn side of things. Not making yarn, but the products that go for the yarny people, the fiber people. And I know that the place that I do the pop-up shop for the yarn crawl is Knitting Tree LA. She did a fall kind of a fall yarn festival kind of thing. I didn't hear about it until after it happened, but being that I was already committed to doing the fall craft fair, I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. But I would love to, I would love to sell more with her and be there with the yarny people. I've got lots of fabrics saved up for fall and Christmas, winter, because I would love to do like a seasonal project bag drop. I was also wondering if I should formulate some sort of seasonal box that maybe has like some yarn minis, one of my project bags, some other stuff like tea and shortbread cookie, like a fun little mystery box to get. That would be a pre-order, kind of like the Advent yarn pre-orders, so that I would know what I was making and I could, get enough fabric for that and make the size project bag people want. So that's been an interesting thing churning in my brain all night. I finally just created a board so that I could capture all of my thoughts. But so it might make more sense for me to do a fall time period show at her store and focus more on the yarn bags than on the craft fair. So that's what I'm pondering right now. Like I said, we have until May. We've got the schedule is set. We are working on the bags, and I think I'm actually ahead of the game on the bags. So I've got like those sock things that I want to try and make, and we've got some other ideas that are more craft focused bags and ideas. The eyeglass cases did really well. How many did I have? 6 or 7, and I only have 1 left, so that's really good. So if we are going to continue doing like the craft fair normal stuff, then I will continue to make some eyeglass cases. Susan dropped a video for me to check out on a different style of eyeglass case. The snap is not where I would want it to be, but she said it was mostly just for the construction, so I can see how she constructs it if I want to redo that in a different style. So I will check out that video. Thank you, Susan, for giving me that suggestion. And yeah, so eyeglass cases might be a great seller in the future. Once again, though, they were $5. It's a $5 item. Yeah, I'm just not sure where I'm going with all of that, and it's hard to know who's gonna buy what. And I've got bags that I made a couple years ago I bring to every show, and one show they like all sell, and another show none of that bag style sells, and it's just really confusing to me and frustrating to me because I don't know what to make next. So I tend to make the bags that I want to make and the styles that I want to have fun making. I'd like to be more, not formulaic, what's the word I'm thinking of? I'd like to be more strategic about the bags that I'm making because I spend a lot of time on these, and I would like it to be things that actually sell. And the thing about the yarn bags that I have found is people like yarn bags. They go for, I've got like 4 or 5 different styles of bags now that hold different amounts of yarn, and that seems to be like a good mix for everybody. We'll see if the sock bags sell. I haven't sold those before. A little research thing I'm doing for this show, but I pretty much have that dialed in of the kinds of bags that they would like to buy. We've also got this bag that I made that has the binding, which is a little more involved and complicated, but if I was focused more on yarny bags, I would probably add something like that back into the mix. I do have that double-sided quilted fabric that I bought at Joann's and might possibly be able to go get more of, depending on the sales going on. I haven't been there for a couple of weeks. I did a lot of damage. So I've been waiting for the sales to come way down into like 50% off territory before I go back and get more stuff. But that's definitely a thought, is to get the quilted fabric, because then I can make more bags like that, and just have to deal with the binding. Maybe if I leave the foam out of the seams, then the binding won't be as difficult for me. And I also have that divided basket. There's another basket style that I saw somebody making that's really cute. It's like a basket with a handle on it that you can put your yarn in. So that would be another idea that I could just venture forth and try different project bag ideas and baskets and things like that. So that's where I'm at with that. But it was wonderful to see everybody. I had a few repeat customers who said, oh, I got here super early so that I could look at your selection, because I came in the afternoon last time and you were mostly cleared out. So they actually like specifically got up early and came to the show to see my items. So wow, that was really thrilling for me to hear. And a lot of repeat customers who came back. Sandy, hi. It was great to see you again and talk to you. And yeah, I talked to a few other people who sew. So we had a little powwow about like different things I could make, like the water bottle holder that has a cell phone pocket, things like that, that might be good sellers in the future. So lots to think about, and oh, I'm relieved. I'm gonna go get a massage later today and update the website and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of take it easy today because the introvert in me did a lot of work yesterday and it's kind of tapped out. But yeah, we're gonna get back to work on the project bags and look forward to the next show, which is in 2 months. So gonna get ready for that. And then yeah, I'm really gonna spend the next 2 months kind of brainstorming what I want, because this has been a very like, let's see if this does well, let's see if this does well, which is great research and development, but I'm really not getting any specific concrete answers from any of that research and development. And I just kind of feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants. Okay, now we found a good craft fair that's a good steady gig for me, but once again, we have to look at, is it performing? The amount of time that I'm committed to the guild in order to participate in the craft fairs, the amount of items that I need to make, the scope of the items, and then what people are actually gonna buy. So yeah, we have to go back to the board and see what makes sense as far as my time and energy and supplies go, and go from there. But I do have like a year's worth of normal purse fabrics that I've already purchased online and other things over the years. So I really have a lot of regular purse fabrics to work with if we do want to do the fall craft fair, and just commit to doing that for this year, and then maybe switching over. I also have to talk to the owner of the Knitting Tree LA to see what's up with the other show, like is that a possibility? Because then I could be doing 2 shows and I would have a place to showcase more of the fall and winter fabrics that I use, because making a winter project bag and selling it in May is kind of weird. And then also focusing on if I can get enough repeat customers who like my products, they might be more willing to purchase something from the website, like a mystery holiday box, or just putting seasonal bags up there that are made and ready to sell. So I mean, that's long term, that's the goal, is to get people to buy things from the website more. Yeah, but I'm kind of, you know, nose to the grindstone right now and getting out there and meeting people and selling things and building up that customer base. So that's super important, and I understand that. But ultimately, I would like to have it where people are like, oh, she came out with holiday bags, let me go grab one, because I already know the quality of her work. So ultimately that's the plan. So in the meantime, I will relax and enjoy my massage and start making some dreams for the future. Instead of being reactionary, I would really like to be more focused and manifesting the type of business and the opportunities that I want, instead of just looking at what's out there now, maybe kind of forging my own path and coming up with something different that nobody else does. So the possibilities are endless. So thank you for joining me this week. This was a little hodgepodge, I know. I appreciate you being here and supporting me. Thanks to all of you who are able to come and see me in person, and thanks to the rest of you for just like sending me good thoughts and vibes for the craft fair and just being here to support me. I really appreciate it. So I will see you next week for more project bags, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Love you, friends. Bye.